Hey guys, welcome to my house. This is typically what I do on a random cold night here. Light a fire, ran out of marshmallows. I've been roasting beef jerky. Hey, don't knock it till you try it. Roasted beef jerky, awesome. Anyway, I get a lot of questions every single day ranging from what's my favorite country to travel to, Japan, to how do I keep fit when I'm stuffing my face every single day, because I'm Asian. And we're basically immune to rice and noodles and bubble tea. But the question I get asked the most is, what are my most recommended places to eat in New York City? I think this is a question that's sent to my inbox about probably 3 to 4 times a day. So I figured I'd finally make a video about this and eventually an ebook because these things change all the time too. On the top 10 places I think you need to eat at when you are visiting New York City. And by the way, these are not in any particular order. And again, this is just my personal preference, my favorite places. I'm sure everyone's got an opinion on this, but this is just my favorite and what I would recommend to my friends when they visit New York City. So let's get started. Number one, when you're in New York, you gotta eat pizza. Guys, New York City, it's a tough place. It's not the cleanest of cities, but I tell you, the pizza alone makes this all seem worth it. And people often ask me to compare New York City pizzas with pizza from Italy. And I'll tell you this right now, apples and oranges, really not the same thing. New York pizzas are as unique as the city itself. The flavors are aggressive, the sauces are plenty, and they're just a perfect size, massive. And my favorite go-to pizza place, well, it's a tie between two pizza institutions. Ruby Rosa's for their thin vodka pizza and Prince Street for their thick pepperoni squares. Now, Ruby Rosa's thin vodka pizza might just be the thinnest pizza I've ever had. A little bit thinner, and you might just have to call it a cracker. It's topped with generous helpings of vodka sauce. It's one of the lightest, most melt-in-your-mouth pizzas you will ever put in your mouth. And the way that the pizza sauce soaks into the dough and melts on your tongue will be so intoxicating. You'll want to order a large and eat it by yourself. And actually, you should do that. Because really, this is the pizza you don't want to share. Now, after that heavenly pie, you might be thinking, okay, it's time for dessert. Wrong, it's actually time for another pizza. Yep, just a couple blocks away is Prince Street Pizza, where their square slices are the exact opposites of the thin pies at Ruby Rosa. Here, the pies are thick, they're loaded with sauce and cheese and tons of crispy, spicy pepperoni, all curled up from the heat with little pools of spicy oil trapped in every single one. But don't let the thickness of the pizza fool you. The dough absolutely dissolves as soon as you sink your teeth into it, and you will immediately be transported to a place in New York where, I don't know, everything is beautiful and full of happiness. It's like Central Park in the spring with a cherry blossom bloom, or wherever your happy place may be. The soft, melty dough is accented by the tangy, sweet tomato sauce, gooey cheese, and then just a slight crunch from the pepperoni will sink your taste buds into a spicy, porky whirlpool of delight. And there's a love-hate relationship because you're gonna love it so much, and also at the same time hate every other pizza you ever had in your life. Well, except for the one you just ate earlier, because none of them could ever compare to what you just put into your mouth. Domino's, more like Domino's. Pizza Hut might as well be Pizza Hack. Oh, by the way, if they're not busy, ask for extra crispy. Yeah, you'll thank me. Next, let's talk about the other food pillar of New York, bagels. My favorite place for bagels is the Brooklyn Bagel and Coffee Company, a place I've been going to ever since I moved to New York City because they were located right beside my work, and oh my God, every single morning, 2 bagel with cream cheese or 2 bagel sandwiches. You know how on Friends like Joey has the Joey special 2 pizzas? I had the Mike special. 2 bagels. And those of you who are not from New York, you don't know this, but New York City bagels, they are ginormous. And when you ask for cream cheese in the middle of that bagel, you can literally use that cream cheese to fill 3 other bagels. That's how seriously we take bagels and cream cheese here in the city. Anyway, Brooklyn Bagel Company is not actually located in Brooklyn. They're all over Manhattan, and they make their bagels fresh every single day. Water boiled bagels. And the great thing is that they will happily toast it for you. And trust me, that's a big deal here in the city because a lot of places when you ask for your bagel toasted, yeah, you might get your bagel thrown at you. So when you get there, order one or multiple of the following. Everything bagel with the avalo cream cheese if you're into something a little bit spicy. Everything bagel with baby dill if you want to actually know what falling in love tastes like. order that. That's my favorite. Or get everything bagel with tuna salad for something substantial. And those of you who want a little something sweet, cinnamon bagel with blueberry cream cheese. Like I said, you can't just order one. Like, just get all four. But there's one thing you gotta make sure you do. Eat the bagels as soon as you get them. Don't try to take it back to your hotel or walk it even more than 4 or 5 blocks, because the bagels will go stale and so will your love for all that's good in the world. Yeah, it's that serious. Now on to Flushing, which is where I always say you need to travel to for the best Chinese food in the city. When in Flushing, the first place you should always visit is Kung Fu Soup Dumplings. It's gonna be called Kung Fu Xiaolongbao. This is a place I've been going to for over 15 years, and they have what I believe is the best soup dumplings outside of China. When you're eating these soup dumplings, as much as you want to, don't compliment it. Do not, seriously, because these dumplings, their skin is just too thin. They can't handle it. Sorry, little dumpling humor. Hopefully it wasn't too dumpy. Sorry. Anyway, really, the skin on these dumplings are remarkably thin, so be gentle with them because they are holding in a ton of deliciously porky soup. And the soup, again, is porky but not overly fatty, so be like a dumpling vampire and just suck all that great soup out, add in some hot oil, Chinese vinegar, a couple slices of ginger, and just drop that dumpling into your mouth so you can experience that intense flavor bomb that only great soup dumplings can deliver. And while you're there, also make sure to order the spicy wontons, chicken soup, yes, get the chicken soup, and finish off with some chocolate soup dumplings. You're welcome for that. And after you're done with your soup dumpling meal, it's time for noodles. So head over to New World Mall. Now, make your way to stall 28. I say that because their name, they don't have an English name. It's stall number 28. And ask for liang pi and da pan niu, which literally translates to cold skin and baked plate of beef. These are two uniquely different noodle dishes. The liang pi is a cold noodle dish from my hometown of Xi'an. It's cold wheat noodles sitting in Chinese vinegar, hot oil, and a bit of sesame sauce. Always chase that with a pork bun that you can find on the other side of the food court. You know what I mean? You'll see some lady chopping really fast with cleavers. That's where you go for the pork bun. Take a bite of the pork bun, let that delicious gelatinous flavor cover your tongue, then take a bite of the cold noodles, and trust me, there has not been a better couple in history, unless you're counting like Romeo and Juliet, and they died. But this, the flavor of this will forever live in food lore. Also, make sure to dunk the bun into that great sauce from the liang pi. That's the best part. After you're done eating that, the da pan niu, the big plate of beef, is my favorite noodles in New York. And make sure when you're ordering this, ask for fatty beef or tendon so the meat is more tender, and then ask for extra noodles on the side, which should only cost you an extra $1. Drop some more Chinese vinegar and hot oil onto that big plate that you will be getting, and get ready to feast on some of the most tasty biang biang noodles in the city. The noodles are thick, the noodles are wide and chewy and amazingly beefy and vinegary with all that sauce and spices clinging onto it for dear life. And keep in mind, this is actually a single noodle, so if it seems endless, well, it kind of is. Also, do not sleep on those potatoes, the mushy, spicy, sour potatoes that's been soaking in that beefy sauce. Anyway, best liang pi, best biang biang noodles in the city. Way better. I'm gonna knock a restaurant here. Everyone goes to Xi'an famous food. It's not good. I don't understand why people love it. I'm from Xi'an. I'm telling you, it's not that good. Go here for these two dishes. Trust me, so much better. Okay, another noodle place you must try is something that just popped up not too long ago. Joe's Steamed Noodle has become my go-to breakfast item whenever I'm in Flushing. And if you never had steamed noodle before, they're these paper-thin rice noodles cooked with amazing ingredients like eggs or sprouts, pork, shrimp, or a combination of such. Basically, anything you like to eat can be added in there. And after it's steamed, add some hot oil, maybe some sesame sauce, and you won't need coffee. Trust me, this thing is like a flavor alarm clock. It's gonna start at the tip of your tongue and send a delicious sensation throughout your body. You will be awake after eating this. And finally, you cannot leave Flushing without having the best regular dumplings in New York City. So head over to the food court underneath the Hong Kong supermarket and get an order of Tianjin dumplings, and make sure you're ordering the pork and dill dumplings. Now, dill is not an ingredient you see a ton in Chinese cooking, but the Chinese word for dill is 茴香, which also sounds like the word that means fragrance that you will think about again. And that's exactly how I would describe these dumplings. Also, if these dumplings get any juicier, you have to add the word soup in front of them. Next, let's talk about burgers. And this is kind of a hostile topic because every single New Yorker has their own idea on where the best burger place is in the city. And I'll just put down a couple options here because I'm torn as well. First of all, if you love a unique burger, like a super unique, awesome tasting burger, you've got to go to Mizna inside Chelsea Market, which really I feel like that's the only place that's good inside that entire market that's not completely overpriced and horrible. This burger is a Middle East inspired burger stuffed inside a pizza full of veggies and sauce that will have you happily licking your fingers. And the burger is grilled with a crispy cheese skirt, and there's cheese folded inside the burger as well, like an inverted cheeseburger. One bite and you'll get a nice charred cheesy crunch and a lot of peppers actually, which it may not be your thing, but it certainly is mine. And the best is when you get down to the bottom part where that like pita is, where it traps all that juice and sauce, and it has that what I can only describe as crack creamy sauce where that's all sitting and soaking into the pita. So make sure to take a ginormous bite so you get some cheese, some meat, some veg, and definitely a lot of that sauce. Now I'm having trouble talking right now because I'm thinking about that burger and just, wow. Gotta swallow a couple times. Oh, actually, the real best part, on top of what's already the best part, is that they give you a ginormous roasted chili. See, I never really ever cared for like the cherry on top of my sundae, you know, that artificial tasting. Like, who wants that cherry? I don't want that cherry. I want a giant chili pepper. I don't care where it's sitting on top of. It could be sitting on top of a sundae, my root beer float, my pizza, my burger, whatever. In here, they give you one. It tastes phenomenal with the burger. Now, my only knock on that is when I had this burger, they toasted the pita, so the pita was hot and great, but I don't think they do that normally. So that's one bad thing, but I will still try the burger. Amazing. Now, if you want a more traditional burger at a really decent price, head over to Boilermaker and get a double cheeseburger. Now, this burger is just a hot, giant mess, which is what I really love in a good burger. It's just this giant juicy burger with Filipino pickled vegetables. Just thinking about it makes me miss New York. Like, wow, God, I love that burger. I mean, it's messy, it's gooey, it's meaty, the veggies are crunchy. It hurts. Having that in my memory actually hurts me. All right, moving on to what I think is the best ramen in the city. I love Todo, I love Ichiran. These are all really good selection, but my favorite ramen I feel like I've found over the last few years and this will remain my favorite ramen place before July of this year. It's called Kame Ramen. I first found this place on a really cold, rainy night. I was having a bad night. It was rainy, it was cold. Even though I love rain, I was walking, so I was wet, I was freezing. When I found this place, I walked in, ordered a bowl of spicy ramen, and immediately I felt the kind of warm love radiating through my body that only, you know, a great bowl of ramen and like a mom's hug could give. The broth was so rich, it could have owned Dubai, and at the same time spicy enough to just heat you up in all the right places. And I say before July of this year because in July is when my own ramen place will be opening up in Queens, so definitely follow me on Instagram, MikeXINGCHEM, for more information on that. But until then, the Kame Ramen, this will remain my favorite ramen place in the city. Number 9, let's talk about steak. Now, there are a lot of great steakhouses all across the country, but for something truly unique and delicious, head over to King's for a mutton chop. Now, when you hear mutton chop, I know some of you may be a little turned off, but trust me on this. If you love a great juicy steak, this is it. And this is so unique. First of all, it's massive. It's a massive cut of mutton, perfectly cooked. No gaminess whatsoever. Incredibly juicy and with just a delicious side of lettuce. Yes, I'm giving compliments to veggies at a steakhouse, but trust me, this is some incredible veggies sitting next to this fantastic chop of mutton. And I just want to say, Peter Luger, extremely overrated. So many better places. I do have to say, this mutton chop is my favorite cut of steak at King's. I don't actually like their regular steaks that much. Love this mutton chop. Other than this, if I want a traditional beef steak, Del Frisco's my place. Love it. Finally, number 10, let's talk dessert. Sure, there are a lot of options in the city for sweets, and I go as far as to say New York City is the best city for desserts and pastries in the country. But I'll tell you where I like to go for a truly great dessert experience. What I mean by experience is a 6-course dessert tasting menu from one of the most posh restaurants in the country per se. And I'm not usually into super high-end 3 Michelin star dining or whatever. I'm not into that, but this is really a uniquely delicious experience. Now, per se is a 3 Michelin star restaurant that usually will require a reservation way ahead of time, but you can actually just show up and request to sit in their parlor area, which has a stunning view of Columbus Circle and Central Park. And there you can order the dessert tasting menu, which is a sweet culinary adventure. The menu changes all the time, but one staple is their homemade donuts and coffee, which is 100% Homer Simpson approved. Also, at the end of this thing, they bring you a box of chocolate, house-made chocolate, and they'll say to you the words I love to hear at every single restaurant. Take as many as you want. And yes, I have uttered the words, I will have them all. Also, what you get to do is you do get to order any savory item that's on the menu that day. So if you really want a romantic experience without a reservation, this is the spot. But remember to dress nicely, and guys, you gotta wear a jacket. If not, they'll give you one. It's that nice. If you want something less posh, Spot Desserts, one of my favorite places. Try the monkey bread, amazing. So there you go, guys. I know that's more than 10 places, but honestly, there's so many great food spots in New York City, and 10 is definitely not enough. And just a quick note, I didn't really include any good Viet places or Korean barbecue places because I really don't feel like New York City has any good pho, where they might be sort of good, but super expensive. And I don't feel like any Korean barbecue really hold a candle to LA. And some of you might be asking, what's my favorite hot pot? Honestly, at this point, they're all kind of the same to me. I don't feel like one place really truly stands out above the rest. Anyway, guys, hopefully you found this video helpful. These would be the top 10 or so places I would recommend a friend who's visiting the city. At the same time, though, I feel like there's over 20 or 30 places I would highly recommend. And it really depends on whether you're staying in Brooklyn, what neighborhood you're in. And there's great food in every single neighborhood in New York City. So it's not doing New York City food justice, but these are my top recommendations. So let me know if you found this video helpful. And if you like this video, maybe I'll do a part 2. As always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. And I'm just gonna go back to my jerky roasting. See you later.